Before we get started on ForEach in SwiftUI, I just want to talk about for loops in Swift. So here we go. Let's make a fruits array. So apple, banana, cucumber, durian, and perhaps elephant. Okay, fruits, all fruits. And if you want to loop through them, you can say for fruit in fruits. And what you could do with each of them is you could print it out. Okay, so this is a for loop, looping through a bunch of fruits. It's a fruit loop. I'm sorry. And if you run your code, you're going to see that it prints them out one by one. Okay, it loops through every single one of these, and it does them one by one. Other ways of doing loops in Swift are for underscore in a range. Okay, and you can say print, this runs 11 times. And I'm just going to run it. And you can check whether I got it correct or not. I'm pretty sure it does run 11 times because it's inclusive of 0 to 10. You could do something like this. You could say for index in 0 dot dot less than 10. And then you could say print, this is the slash bracket of time it's running. Okay, and you just put the index inside here. Okay, so let's run it real quick, ignoring all grammatical errors if the 0th time, 1st time, 2nd time, and 3rd time, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is how you loop through an array or a range in Swift. So here we are in Xcode this time, because Swift Playgrounds refused to open my app for some reason. But here we are, and I think you might recall that you cannot just put loops anywhere you want in SwiftUI. So you might be thinking, oh, I want 20 hello worlds. So you think, okay, I'm going to do for underscore in 0 dot dot less than 20, and then open curly brace and close curly brace. Fantastic. Now we have 20 hello worlds. No, you do not. Now you have an error. This is logical code, and logical code does not belong in View Builder code. So you cannot do this. However, you can use something called a ForEach, and the syntax is actually very similar. So I'm going to show you that real quick. It's called ForEach, open bracket, 0 dot dot less than 20, close bracket. And this is a closure, so you got to say something like index in, and that should actually work, because what it does is ForEach is a container view, and this closure over here is what's going to be repeated this number of times based on this range. Okay, so similarly, you can use a ForEach with something like this. Let fruits equals to apple, banana, coconut, and dengue fever. I have no idea. Okay, and what we can do is you can say ForEach, and we're going to say fruits, comma, id colon slash dot self. And I'll explain that in a moment. This one says fruit. And down here, I'm just going to say hello, comma, and string interpolation of fruit. Okay, so what this does is it takes this for loop, which you kind of saw previously, right, for fruit in fruits. Instead, it says for each fruits, comma, id colon slash dot self. And then this fruit over here is the variable that shows up each time through the loop. So what's going on with this ID? ID is essentially like a name badge. Imagine your teacher joins you for the first day and there are 50 students in the class. How would your teacher tell you apart? They might ask you to wear a name badge. This is the problem that SwiftUI faces when you want to create a bunch of views. In this case, we're just creating 4, but imagine if there were 500 fruits inside here. What SwiftUI wants is a way of figuring out, hey, every time I do one of these, can I just get some kind of way to tell you guys apart? So the ID parameter is just saying, okay, you can identify each unique item inside this list by using its own name. In this case, the string. They're all slightly different. Okay. If you ever end up with 2 things that are exactly the same though, SwiftUI will go a little bit haywire, so there is a better way to do this, and we'll see that in the future. Okay, so that's using SwiftUI's ForEach with an actual array, and of course you saw just now that we could use SwiftUI with a range. Alright, and the best way to use it is with an open range, and this over here, I'm just going to call this thing underscore because I don't really care about the number that I get, and I'm going to say text. I love SwiftUI, exclamation mark. Okay, so all great. And I'm going to just show it to you with an open range, dot dot 10, underscore in text. I really enjoy SwiftUI, exclamation mark, enter. And let's see whether this works. Okay, this does not work for some reason. All right, it says cannot convert type of close range int to expected argument of type range int. Okay, so you have to do something like this, id/.self, before it actually works. This is a little bit of a quirk of SwiftUI, so just be aware, this is an open range. It goes from 0 to 9. It never reaches 10. This is a closed range. It goes from 0 to 10. And the ForEach, when it takes in a closed range, it must receive an ID as well. Whereas for this, it kind of knows what to do, so it doesn't require it.